Are rugby players overplayed and underpaid? This is a big issue that I believe that we have in rugby right now, especially considering that rugby is such a physically dominating sport. I mean, the players are literally throwing each other's at themselves and trying to tackle each other, and all they have is bones and skin, right? And there's only so much damage that a body can take before it ends up giving up on you. You look at players like Leon Brown, who he retired, I believe, at the age of 28 because his body couldn't take it anymore. He had three neck injuries, three surgeries within the space of a couple months that has caused him to retire. Right? There are lots of players. You look at Kitchoff for South Africa. He got a neck injury in a scrum and he had to have major surgery. You check out his posts on his recovery. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's big surgery, right? Obviously, he is going to be returning because he is an absolute monster. But these are players that they love the game, but there's only so much that your body can genuinely take, right? So at where does it end? Obviously, we do have things like concussions and so on, but again, your body can only take so many concussions before it starts giving out, right? And concussions are a very, very big thing in sport because you got to think the rugby players, they're not coming at each other with padding or armor. No, they literally just have boots, socks, shorts, and a shirt, right? And that's on the best of days, and just saying, okay, yeah, let's fling each other at each other, at each other. And it's like, okay, fair enough. If it's like the common average Joe person that's, 5'5", 5'6". No, we are talking about these genetically perfect monsters that are 7 foot, weighing 200 pounds, 300 pounds of pure muscle that are just running at you at 20 miles an hour, trying to cause as much damage as possible to protect a piece of rubber, right? Um, it's difficult because then you think 80 minutes every weekend plus hours of training every single day. It puts a load on your body, and your body can only take so much, right? So it's hard to see, especially considering they aren't actually paid that much. They are not paid that much considering the kind of sport that they play and what kind of effect it has on the body, right? We put into comparison Antoine Dupont, who's quite possibly the best rugby player in the world, and I think he's the highest paid player in the world. I believe he's earning, I think it's around 700,000 a year, right? That's a lot of money when you think about it. That is a hell of a lot of money when you actually think about how much money that this guy rakes in. But he's the best player in the world. But now we compare it to football. We look at Karim Benzema, who's far older, is like 36, 37, playing in Saudi Arabia. That's not that good. But he's earning, I think it's around 300,000 to 400,000 a week. A week. 300,000 to 400,000 a week. How ridiculous is that? That is absolutely mental. And then we take in consideration, okay, what effect does it have on his body? Yes, he has his ankles, he has his legs, but I would like to see a footballer play rugby for 80 minutes up against some of these monsters and not want to bloody die of pain when he's recovering for the next game. A rugby player, he's got to get back up. He's got to go. He's got to train. They might get a day, 2 days off, but he's back in the training ground. They're training their backsides hard. And then if you have the Champions Cup, you have games that are midweek, you have cup competitions, you have domestic leagues. It's ridiculous. And these players, they do not get paid anywhere near enough. But then it comes down to the same thing. Why do footballers get paid so much and rugby players don't? It's because they bring in revenue, right? Football is everywhere to be seen. They bring in revenue. The name Benzema, the name Ronaldo, the name Messi brings in money because it brings in seats. It brings in people that want to buy the shirt. They want to watch him play. Footballers get paid so much because they bring in a good amount of revenue, right? They are being paid equivalent to what they are, to what kind of value that they bring to the club, right? And rugby is nowhere even near that. But I also feel this comes down to grassroots systems, because you look at rugby as a whole. If I turn on the TV right now, what am I more likely to see? Rugby or football? You're more likely to see football. They're going to be in adverts here, there, and everywhere, chopped in between your movies, in between whatever it is that you're watching. You go onto YouTube, you're more likely to find football. You go pretty much anywhere, you're more likely to see football advertised everywhere, right? But then you look at rugby. Where's rugby genuinely advertised? Unless you know about it, you're not necessarily going to be going to go find it, right? I'll give you even another example. Sky Sports in England. It does not have the ability to genuinely show me what I need on demand unless I physically go looking for it. So if I open up the app, they will give you the option, but what's first? Football. And then I need to scroll all the way to the side to get to rugby union, rugby league, and then I can take a look at all my information. When I want to set up the app, it asks you, what is your favorite clubs? It's football, right? It's a good thing I do follow football, but yeah, it's something as simple as that. You go to their other app, the Score Center. It revolves around football, right? You go into the Score Center, you won't find anything about rugby. You have to go through the main app. Um, but what I'm saying is, this is the quite possibly the biggest platform in England to keep up to date sports, right? So you want to look at anything sport related, you're more likely to go through Sky Sports and take a look what's there. But the first thing that's advertised is football, right? Pretty much anywhere, any advertisements, even on the streets, anywhere about, it's football. Rugby does not do enough to bring in the next youth system. They just do not. They do not fund it well enough. They do not fund anything well enough, actually. The entire system is horribly run. And I'm talking about an England sense, because you look at the rugby communities are very strong. They are very together, but you will only find that once you actually get part of the rugby community, right? Because otherwise, you look at kids, and I have a perfect example of this with my kid who plays rugby. And unless he's physically searching for it, I'm talking a kid 12, 13 years old, unless he's physically searching for it, he has no interest in it, right? If he sees me watching it, oh, who's playing, what's the score, da da da, let's watch whatever it is, you know it's there, it's available, it's in his eye, okay, let's watch it, right? um but if I'm not watching it, doesn't even doesn't even cross his mind, right? But football does, right? He sees football everywhere, literally everywhere. It's played everywhere, it's advertised everywhere, literally everywhere. So this is something that I feel rugby needs to do better, because the next generation, it's only going to get worse, right? You look at South Africa as an example, and then people wonder why South Africans always have such a good pool, talent pool. It's because we do not promote football as our number one sport, or as they call it in South Africa, soccer. They do not promote it as their first sport. They promote rugby. You look at the adverts, rugby. You look everywhere, it's rugby. Who's filling up the main stadiums? Rugby clubs, right? It is ingrained into you. You are literally, come the weekends, you're having a braai, getting the whole community involved. You're watching rugby play throughout the weekend, right? And it's a community thing. It's the way you are raised, and this is something that I feel it's lifestyle, right? South Africa promote rugby first, football second. England promote football first, rugby second. And I don't know. It's something that a lot of clubs, a lot of countries they do. So until the system changes, personally, England, because I live here, will never be number one again because teams, countries like New Zealand, countries like Ireland, countries like South Africa put such a great emphasis on rugby. Even France, but they are they're a unicorn when it comes to this because not only are they brilliant when it comes to football, they are brilliant when it comes to rugby as well. They've got a very big program in terms of sport and how it's run. And France's sport in general is being run very, very, very well throughout the sports. So yeah, changes need to be made. I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are. What changes do you think need to be made? Right? Maybe you guys think that everything is fine. Personally, I think the rugby system is very flawed, especially in England. But yeah, I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. So let me know in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, as it really does help my channel grow. And I just want to provide you guys with the best content possible. So on that note, catch you guys in the next one. Bye.